would be up waiting for you if you had to leave. I would wait a lifetime if you were at sea. I just wanna say that I feel that our love is real. Maybe we should hurry up and seal the deal. Take you there. I would give it all away to do it all again. Make our love a story that would never end. Never thought I'd feel so alive, looking in your eyes. I just wanna love you till the day I die. Oh, oh, I just wanna love you right. Oh, oh, love you till the end of time. I just wanna hold you for forever. Every day you're making me better, 'cause a love like this is rare, and I wanna take you there. If I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you. If I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you. If I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you. If I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you. Oh, oh, I just wanna love you right. Oh, oh, love you till the end of time. I just wanna hold you for forever. Every day you're making me better, 'cause a love like this.
Joseph, call your mother. Be sure you call your mother. When in doubt, call your mom, right? How sweet that you're both on. I love that. How is everyone this evening? We are in smoke and heat here in the Pacific Northwest. I'm so ready for fall. But you know, Mother Nature has other plans in store. So we're troopering through, and because air quality is fluctuating all the time, that means I have more time to spend inside reading. Although, if you saw my post last week, for the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, I have just been in a reading slump, which is not normal for me at all. And I think it's interesting because someone asked if the same thing happens with my writing, and knock on wood, it doesn't. I think because I can kind of like carve out that space differently. Writing is my job. I make a living writing, and so I don't really have a choice. You know, it would be like if you go to work and you're like, I'm just not feeling it, you know, your boss would probably give you a reprimand, or perhaps even say bye-bye. So I don't have a problem writing, but reading is usually my escape, and I read a lot. And for the last few weeks, I will get 150, 200 pages through a book that I was enjoying and then just not really finish, which is super unusual for me. Usually I can tell within the first like 30, maybe sometimes I'll give a book 50 pages. If it's not resonating with me, I set it aside. I do not finish it. I think everyone should embrace that, because a lot of times, and we've talked about this before, I know, you might pick up a book at a particular point in time and it doesn't resonate, and then you come back to it later and it does. But even with books that I was enjoying, I was just losing steam. So I put it out there, and you all had so many great ideas. And someone, I think actually many of you, suggested doing something shorter, like a short story, because I definitely think part of it for me right now is reading is such an outlet and an escape for me that I just have too much going on in my brain with the world around us right now. And I'm not able to have maybe that level of focus. Well, I'm super excited to tell you that I did that this weekend. And I read the first book that we're going to talk about in one sitting, basically, because it's short. I devoured it. I loved it. And that just like, again, knock on wood, broke me out of my slump. So I'm so excited. But I want to know from you all, have you been through that? It sounds like some of you have, and I'm super curious what else you do.
First, I think she's asking, where are you, like, physically, right?
Karen, oh, like where am I physically? I'm in Ashland. I'm in my living room right now because we're talking books and summer reads, and I'm sharing the last of my summer TBR pile, and I have a little splash of wine here. Oh, I can't show you the books yet. I'm in my favorite reading chair. This is in my living room. So I'm looking out to very smoky skies. It would normally, if you looked out, we can't really turn the camera, I guess, but all you see is gray right now. So it's very sad. Yeah, it's not pretty. Lillian, you've been in a huge reading funk. I know. Okay, so maybe some of the books that I'm going to share tonight will help you through that. I'm not sharing any of the books that I didn't finish, not because they're not great reads, but I didn't finish them. So, hopefully in a month or two, I will come back to them. But I'm totally feeling the fall vibes. 50 pages. Yeah, how do you pronounce it? Is it Heha or is it Jeha or Jeja? Let me know, because I'm terrible at names, like I've said, but I'd love to be able to try to pronounce your name correctly. 50 pages is usually a good mark. And like everything else, life is short. If you're not loving something, just set it aside and move on. And I say that from a writer's perspective and an author's perspective too. It's okay. Like, I would much rather have somebody, if they're not feeling one of my books, just set it aside and move on than like try to slog through it and be miserable and then go share horrible reviews or whatever. Lenny, you're having trouble getting through a cozy favorite author. Yeah, it's not bad. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying about the few books that I haven't finished in the last few weeks. They're all great and like compelling reads. So I know it's me. It's not the book. Sometimes it's the book, but right now it's me. Yeah, Anna, you've been through reading slumps too. Oh, that's a good idea, to buddy read with a friend and see if maybe that helps. Yeah, I like that. A lot of people suggested audio. I'm gonna download some audio too. I like that idea of just sort of like walking around the house and listening, or maybe moving. Yeah. Jessica, oh, J-Jaw, I love that. That's your family nickname for you. That's so sweet. Now we're all family. Cheers to that. So tonight I want to share some reads that I have absolutely adored. My current read, I'm going to share the read that got me out of my slump, and what I'm reading next. And then I also thought it would be fun to share some summery drinks, because we are still in summer. I'm ready for fall. Raise your hand if you're ready for fall. I'm so ready for sweater weather and reading in front of the fire here, but we've got a little ways to go. So we got to soak up the last of the summer reads and the last of the fun drinks. I put together 3 drink ideas that I feel like Andy or collectively the team at Tort would serve. In fact, one of them is going to be inspired by Carlos. So yeah, I can't wait to share that with you. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. Yeah, book 1. All right. I have to give huge props to the tech guy who was gone. He was camping with friends. He's cheering in the background. For the book that got me out of my reading slump. We talked about this series a couple weeks ago when I had Courtney, Cortagonist, on as a guest. This is it 4 books? This is the first 4, but how many books are in the series now? 6.5 books in the series. It's not a short story per se, like it's a full novel, but I'd say it's more like the length of a novella. It's 140 pages. I didn't give you the title, did I? All Systems Red by Martha Wells. This is the first in the Murderbot Diaries. It's a series. And I devoured this literally in one sitting right here in this chair. And I was kind of in this like funk, because I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I love to read, but reading is not helping me right now. And Anyway, I sat down and I devoured it. It's so good. It has, did anyone read The Martian? Actually, has anyone read it? First of all, I want to know that. It read like The Martian. It was such a page turner. It read like something that you could already see playing out in a movie. It is set in the future, clearly, Murderbot Diaries, and the main character is AI. And so it's sci-fi, and it's gripping, and it's very plot-driven and futuristic. But what really resonated with me about it was that there's also this just really fascinating look at humanity as part of it, because it's told through the perspective of AI. And I felt like a lot of times that character kind of came across as maybe somebody who had really severe social anxiety, or perhaps, was on the spectrum of some form of autism, because they don't understand how to communicate with people. But over the course of the story, there's this whole, well, I don't want to give anything away, but there's a lot of character development on it. And so if you loved The Martian, or if you like sci-fi, I highly recommend it. I cannot wait to get through. The tech guy has them all, so I'm super lucky because I'm going to keep going with these, and they're quick. If you're in a little bit of a funk and you need something that you can just sit down and read quickly, bring it on. And there's something about like space this time of year. Maybe it's because it's smoky and it's sort of moody and atmospheric here, but I totally digged this. And it was like forever. I feel like I'm going to be in Martha Wells' debt because it was so joyful for me to finish a book and go, oh my gosh, okay, yes, there it is. That's my love of reading and words. It's back. Oh, the tech guy's losing his mind right now, Anna, because he thought you're talking about the Martian movie. The Martian movie is also fantastic. But he thought you were saying that there's already a Murderbot Diaries movie out, and he was going to lose his mind if he hasn't seen it yet. There's not a movie out. I actually checked, but I'm sure it's going to be made into a movie. It's just great. Katie, you liked The Martian. Let's see. Yes to The Martian. Yes, absolutely. So good. So fun. I haven't listened to the audiobook of The Martian Toy. That would be a good one to listen to. I just remember when The Martian first came out, I was totally sucked in from page one. And I think I stayed up, if I remember right, I think I read that in one night and stayed up until like 2 a.m. to get it finished. So good. And then, of course, Matt Damon later on. Come on, we can't go wrong with that. So if you need a little touch of sci-fi, you want something that also has some depth and a look at humanity and kind of where we're going and evolving, I really recommend this series. Well, I can't recommend the whole series, but the tech guy does. And the first book was phenomenal. And it broke my reading slump. So cheers to that. Speaking of cheers, we're going to move on to our first recipe of the night, which is this one. This is Ode to Carlos. I have been working on edits for book 15 of the BAKESHOP Mysteries. I'm going to have a cover reveal to share with you soon. I can't wait. I've seen the final cover art and it's dreamy. And Carlos has been on my mind because it's the BAKESHOP Mysteries. And at Uva, Jules' winery that she runs, there is always rosé flowing because yes, way Rosé. And Rosé is a big hit, especially here in the Rogue Valley. In fact, what's interesting about Rogue Valley wineries is predominantly vintners grow red grapes. Sorry, I have a little tickle in my throat. Red grapes here in the valley. And so Rosé is kind of like the perfect lighter summer wine if you're a wine drinker. So this is Ode to Carlos. It's very romantic. It has a touch of strawberry and fresh lemon balm, and of course, like beautiful, luscious oranges with your rosé. It's almost like making a little sangria with it. And I think we have the recipe on the next slide, Tech Guy, yeah? He's moving on. There it is. Okay, so you're going to take 5 ounces of your favorite rosé, chop up some strawberries, I think like really thinly sliced, so you can put them in the wine, ice, of course, some fresh mint. I actually used lemon balm in this one, just to give it even like a little bit more of a citrus kick, and then thinly sliced oranges inside. Let that sit. You don't put the, I should say, don't put the ice in right away. Like let that kind of sit and do its beautiful thing for, I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever. The tech guy's drinking one.
This is my second.
Oh, that's your second. Oh my goodness. Woo, he's going to be feeling it tonight. Let it sit and then add ice and serve it chilled. It's just beautiful. It's light. If you are a rosé fan, I think it would be super simple. And I could totally imagine that this is what Jules would serve at a Sunday supper outside in August in the vines with all of the delectable and romantic food. And I might need to write a scene for that. I know, right? Jennifer, your husband's name is Carlos. Ooh, that's dangerous. I also love something that's really simple. Like there's elegance, I think, in simplicity sometimes, that you don't have to overdo a drink, like a little sprig of a fresh herb from your garden and some fresh fruit and ice, and you're good to go. Go tech guy, yeah. We'll see if I'm like, hey, next book. Okay, so we're going to move on to books. This is a book that I read earlier in the summer, and it's The Bright Edge of the World by Eowyn Ivey. Eowyn wrote The Snow Child, if anyone read that. This one is hefty. It is not quite as thin as our Martha Wells Murderbot, but again, I read this book earlier in the summer and I just absolutely devoured it. Now, you may or may not know this about me, but I grew up in Vancouver, Washington, which is just right across the river from Portland, Oregon. And one of the sort of like founding points of Vancouver is Fort Vancouver. So the fort is a working fort. When I was growing up, my grandfather was a woodworker and a blacksmith. So at least a few times a year, the fort would have living history reenactments. So you would have, you know, the entire working fort in action. And my grandfather was always one of the volunteers who worked in the blacksmith shop. I loved going into the kitchens for the wood-fired bread and the tack. The tack didn't sound so exciting for that time period, but it lasted, right? And you needed food. Anyway, the fort is just one of my all-time childhood memories. And this book is actually set at Fort Vancouver in the 1800s. And it features a young woman, Sophie, who is pregnant with her first child, who is left behind as her husband goes off to explore Alaska. And so it goes back and forth between his adventures in Alaska and then her time at the fort. And I felt like I was transported and I could just like live in these pages because I can visualize everything about it. But even if you don't have any context for Fort Vancouver and Hudson's Bay and the trapping company and everything that was happening out west in this time period, it's just a luscious read and I highly recommend it, especially if you enjoy historical fiction set at that time. The Snow Child was phenomenal. Yeah, so if you liked The Snow Child, I can't recommend this enough. Yeah, Paula, it's set at the fort. You definitely have to get this one. Vancouver, go, Vancouver, USA. Let's see. It's really good. I totally love it. Oh, Susan, you love the painting behind you, behind you. Funny story on that. A few years ago, the tech guy and I were in San Luis Obispo, which is this great beach town in Southern California. And we went into this vintage record store. I have also always had an affinity for vintage travel postcards. There's a whole line of vintage travel postcards here in the West, really, but they might be in other places. So actually, I'm super curious if you have them in other places at national parks. But all of the national parks kind of have that retro style. That's actually what I wanted for my first series, for my Pacific Northwest Mysteries. That was my vision for the cover. But if you're going with traditional publishing, and especially if you're a brand new baby author, you don't always get a say in the cover. That's another story we can talk about maybe next week when we talk about writing. In any event, the tech guy and I walk into this record store and we both just immediately were drawn to that print. We fell in love with it. And then we learned that the artist is the artist who was originally commissioned to do all of the prints for the national park. So like the redwoods and Yosemite and all of those sort of vintage designs. That's the artist whose name I'm not going to remember at all. Do you remember? No. Anyway. We did go to Boo Boo Records after that too. Yeah, so that's that story. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna move on to book number 3. Are we on book number 3 now?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. Dial A for Aunties. Okay, I know a lot of you are murder fans, and this one is such a kick. Has anybody read this? I read this in early July and had so much fun with this one. So the premise is that Medi Chan accidentally, and this is on the, I'll just read you this little part from the back cover. If you haven't read it, this is not, I'm not giving away a spoiler, I promise. She ends up accidentally killing her blind date, and she calls in her troop of aunties to solve the day. And I feel like this was like a mashup of, does anybody remember, I'm dating myself here, but does anybody remember Weekend at Bernie's? It had like, I'm laughing still because I laughed out loud all the way through this one. It had touches of Weekend at Bernie's, and it almost had touches of like The Kitchen God's Wife. If you read that many years ago, I love anything that Amy Tan has ever written. With this kind of like family dynamic of strong women. And then it was just laugh out loud funny and hilarious and a romp. And so if you're looking for something lighter to finish out your August and your summer read pile, this one is just a gem of a mystery. And not, it's definitely, it's not, it probably doesn't fall technically in the cozy lane, but it's cozy. Like it's not super dark. Marty, it's great. It is so hilarious. Yeah, Rose Josephine, your mom's on. Don't tell her about your blind dates. She'll come after you. I'm constantly trying to get Sky Guy, the kid, to talk about his love life, but he won't do it. So be nicer to your mom. Oh no, he's coming up. He's probably going to hear me. He's coming upstairs right now. Usually we do this in my office. Oh no. He's sneaking in. You want to come on the live? No, he's going the other way. He's got his special drink that I made that I'm going to share in a minute. It's non-alcoholic. Yeah, of course it's non-alcoholic. Anyway, it's set in an island resort. It hits all those right notes. It has touches of romance, super fun, light. I dare you to read this and not laugh at some point in time is what I want to tell you about that. So I'm sure there's going to be some sort of follow-up book because it's just a pure delight. Okay. Recipe. We got another recipe. Good. Hey, that's what the kid was just drinking. Sky Guy. So I wanted to come up with 3 ideas for 3 different palettes. So our first one was like a Carlos-inspired wine drink. This is more if you're just, relaxing in the afternoon, maybe you're outside, maybe you're by the pool or the beach or a lake, or you just need something to cool off because it's hot outside. This is a pineapple delight and it's non-alcoholic. You just get your blender out and you go to town. So it has, are you going to go? Yeah, perfect. It has, what did I call it? A pineapple crush. I feel like this is a drink that Sterling would be a fan of. And for summer, I could imagine that it would be a drink special that is served at Tort in the afternoon, maybe even in the morning for a brunch, especially with like something kind of on like the salady side or a nice fresh wrap. Can you tell that I'm already in recipe mode? We'll talk about that in a second. So for this, I did a half a cup of pineapple juice, a half a cup of coconut milk. Oh, I did a quarter. Yeah, because I only made 1. That's right. In my head initially, I was going to make a bigger batch. Quarter, thank you, tech guy. Fresh lime juice and a cup of ice. Blend it together, stick in a straw, maybe a cute little strawberry or umbrella on the side, and pair that with Dial A for Aunties. Come on, so great. Oh, the tech guy is, you're in a mood tonight. The tech guy is suggesting if you wanted to, for an adult, you could add some rum. That's true. You could level it up that way. Back to recipes for a second. I'm working on book 15 of the Bake Shop Mysteries, like I talked about, and I've already gone through edits with my editor, so now it should have an umbrella. It's true. In fact, I think I have umbrellas somewhere, but I was lazy and didn't go get it. I am now at the stage that the book will soon be going into copy edits, so I'm going back through this book and trying to pull out what recipes to bake. And sometimes when I do that, I have a harder time. Like I'll think, oh, I don't really have as much. And sometimes that will almost trigger me to go back and like add a few more little baking scenes in. But this particular book, book 15, has an abundance of recipes, and all of them sound so good. None of them are recipes that I've made. They were all just top of mind as I was writing. So every day for the last 2 weeks, and maybe this is why I haven't been reading as much, I have been recipe testing, but I need your help with some of them. I put a call out a week or so ago between 2, and I feel like if I'm not careful, this book, the end of this book is going to end up with like 12 recipes, which normally I have 6. And now I have all these fun cocktails and fruity summer drinks to go with it.
Julia and Mary.
Okay.
And Marty.
The tech guy's finding his squad here. He's like, okay, thank you for that. Esther, you can have a taste anytime. Okay, moving on to book number 4. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. This cover. How can you not love this cover? The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels, and also just such a great title by India Holton. This is great. I read this right before my reading slump kicked in, and it was the last one that I just devoured before I kind of got in my slump. So I'm just going to read you the little early blurb about it. Cecilia Basingwaith is an ideal Victorian lady. She's also a thief. Like the other members of the Wisteria Society crime sorority, she flies around England drinking tea, blackmailing friends, and acquiring treasures by any interesting means. Sure, she has a dark and traumatic past and an overbearing aunt, but all things considered, it's a pleasant existence until the men show up. This is just another gem of a book. It's historical, it's romance, it's also very feministic in its slant, like the women are the ones out fighting and the men are at home cooking. So there's a nice little gender flip with it. It is a great romp. It reminded me a little bit of, oh, now I'm gonna blank on it. The pirate movie, Claire Danes. Shoot, someone help me out. Oh, Claire Danes and Robert De Niro.
Oh, Stardust.
Stardust. Thank you. Thank you. It had, if you are familiar with Stardust, it had little touches of that meets like, you know, sort of posh Victorian society flipped around. Super fun, great heroine, really eccentric cast of characters, lots of sword battles and flying ships and all the things that you look for in adventure. And then, of course, some romance, because you've got to have that tossed in. So isn't that cover amazing, right? I know. This I bought just because of the cover. Like literally, I saw the cover. I was like, I don't even need to read the back. I'm good. I'm good to go. What's that? Oh, you're miking up? Yeah. Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Who's going to buy it first?
You were going to buy it first.
Yeah.
It's true. You saw it first. We were at Beach Books we were at Lucy's Books. Lucy's Books in Astoria. And I was talking to the store owner and the tech guy was browsing, and then you were trying to wave me over. And then Lisa, who owns Lucy's Books, that's kind of a mouthful, was like, "Oh, you have to buy that book," because I was drawn to the cover, and the tech guy was standing over on the side, holding it, saying, "I know you want this book." I know, Paula, it's a problem, especially if you get into any kind of like little reading funk too. But hopefully, all of these end of summer reads for you will get you out of that vibe, right? T, I know. The cover's just, and we say don't judge a book by its cover, but how can you not? Like, it's so great, so festive, super fun. I'm sure this is going to be a series too. his squad, Becky. I know. Don't encourage him. It's terrible. It's so bad. Let's see. Lisa, Queen of Books, read. Yes, Paula, everybody knows Lisa. That's the best thing about being a writer, aside from this, but it's all part of the same connection of book world that we all belong in. If you shop at independent bookstores, like, you're going to get to know the owners, you're going to become friends with the owners, and they're going to know what you like and be able to recommend so many things that I would never have found otherwise. Maybe without you, right? Lillian, the tech is like my hubby. He finds books and says it was his, but it was mine, right? I know, yeah. That's the beauty, because, you know, like my first Martha Wells Murderbot, I probably wouldn't have jumped in. He's been reading those for a while, and laughing out loud reading them, actually, I should say. They're very funny, too. There's a very, like, deadpan humor in that, but it's good. It's good to swap and, like, break out of your normal routine.
What a small world.
Oh, Paula, Lisa's a good friend of mine. Of course. See, this is why I love all things book. It's amazing. Okay, what are we doing next? Another drink or?
No.
My current read. Okay. I am currently reading The People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I read Beach Read at over the holidays, and I really loved it. I love this one even more. I started Murderbot on Saturday, and I finished it, like I said, in a couple hours. And then I was very energized because I was like, okay, phew. I was worried it was going to be a whole thing, but it wasn't. It was just a little blip for me for reading. And then I went to my stack and I pulled this out, and I am now at page 134. Do you dog-ear your pages? Are you a bookmark person? Or do you just remember? Maybe you read on a Kindle so you don't have to remember. That's definitely a thing. I dog-ear. I know. I don't know if you can see that, but I do dog-ear pages. It's terrible. It's my thing. I have stacks of bookmarks that I never use. Is that murder-worthy? Am I going to die myself in a future live because of that? It is a... this one goes back and forth in time. So the main character, Poppy, and her best friend, Alex, have met in college. And something has happened to sort of have them go in different paths, and we don't know that. I still don't know because I'm only halfway through. And it goes back and forth in time between all of the vacations that they've taken together. Poppy is a modern travel writer, but when she was first starting out, she was writing, the tech guy's cracking up. That is criminal. I know. I'm sorry. I'm admitting it here. I'm telling you all.
You're definitely in the minority.
I know.
I'm just going to go through the comments
the tech guy,
here.
sorry.
Like,
I know. I feel so bad. I know. I always have been a dog-earer. I also write in books sometimes. If I love a quote, I will highlight things. I will make notes in the margin. Oh, no. I know, it's getting real tonight. No crack spines. I crack a spine too. I like a good crack spine.
That's why I don't let you borrow my books.
I know, it's true. Don't let me borrow books. I've also dropped books in the bathtub. I'm not good to books necessarily, but I love them, and I think books should be consumed. Anyway, we digress. Back to the. It's just, I want to say but it's actually just people we meet on vacation. When Poppy's starting out her travel writing career, she's on a total budget, and Alex tags along with her. They are just friends, but best friends, and clearly there's some romantic chemistry there. And now, fast forward 12 years in the future, she's writing for a posh travel magazine who's sending her all over on these luxurious getaways. And she and Alex have a chance to do this new meetup for his brother's wedding. And like I said, then it goes back and forth in time. So we go back to all of their, you're seeing the dark side for sure, Marty. It goes back and forth in time to their early vacations. So we learn all these pieces about the characters through their vacations together. I'm totally digging it. It's light. It's got depth to it too, don't get me wrong, but it's just, if you're, again, we're rounding out summer, so Soon, this is going to be sweaters and coffees and pumpkins and all the good stuff. So if you're looking for like a last minute beachy style read, that's the one for you for sure.
Speaking of coffee.
Speaking of coffee, oh good, we're going to go to our next recipe. Okay, so I almost put this recipe in Mocha She Wrote because this is not a spoiler for anyone who hasn't gotten that far in the series yet, but in Mocha She Wrote, Andy, Tort's lead barista, is competing in a cutthroat barista competition. And when I was doing research for this book, I learned that coffee tonics are a big thing, especially in that competitive kind of like next high level coffee field. And I was this close to putting a recipe in, and then I think I ran out of space for that one too. And I think I had 2 coffee recipes in Mocha She Wrote, which usually I only have 1. So 3 felt like a push. But because we were having this event tonight, I thought, oh, it's a perfect time to break it out. Have you had a coffee tonic before? It's really simple. You take 1 shot of espresso and you pour in tonic water. If you wanted to do a flavored tonic water, you definitely could. I added fresh orange juice and some orange slices to kind of bring out the citrus piece of the tonic. And then you put it over ice and you garnish it with an orange. You could do that with just plain tonic water though, and not do any sort of citrus. I saw one where one of the baristas had frozen maraschino cherries and added those in instead of ice. There were baristas who've made them with coffee ice cubes if you wanted to level up your coffee. But it's kind of a trend in coffee culture. So do not be surprised if at some point in a future BAKESHOP book, someone, Andy, Sequoia, somebody makes a coffee tonic. Yeah.
You could add Kahlua to this.
Oh my gosh. You're terrible. Oh, that's so great. Miranda, summer reading is great, but I can't wait for fall. I know, it's so true. Beth, yes, we need all the light, fun reads. And I think that's probably part of it for me too. You know, I've shared before that I read a lot of historical fiction. I had to go away from that. Not, I mean, like this level of historical fiction maybe, but I had to take a break from some of the more serious side. But you're seeing my dark side. It's true. I would gladly hand it through the screen if I could, but you could make it at home. Super simple, refreshing for any coffee drinker. It seems like something that would pair well, you know, with like your little Emily Henry Reed, Kahlua. Beth, don't encourage him. Maraschino cherries. Yes, I know. Fun fact, Oregon State University, which is up the road from us, although I went to the University of Oregon, so go Ducks, no beeps, but Oregon State University is where maraschino cherries were invented. That's their claim to fame. Who knew? So funny. Winter doesn't exist in Southern California. Yeah, it's true. It's like summer for 8 months, 3 weeks of fall, 2 days of winter and spring. Totally. Whenever I'm visiting Southern California, it cracks me up if I'm there during sort of like, you know, a cooler season, because everyone's wearing, you know, boots and jeans and sweaters and scarves. And I'm like, but it's 80. Like all of us from the Northwest, we're like in shorts and everything. Although ironically, it's been cooler, I think, in Southern California this summer than it has been in Oregon. So trying times.
Book 6.
Book 6. Okay. Last but not least, this is next. I have not read it yet, but this is next on my list. The Chicken Sisters, which is very foodie. I'm super excited about it. It was also a Reese's book club pick. So if you follow Reese Witherspoon and you know about her book picks, we probably can't go wrong with that. I will read you a little blurb from the back cover. I think you'll get an idea of why this one is compelling to me. 3 generations, 2 chicken shacks, 1 recipe for disaster. Chicken Mimi and Chicken Franny have spent a century vying to serve up the best fried chicken in Kansas. And the legendary feud between their respective owners, the Moores and the Pogacilios, I don't know, have lasted just as long. No one feels the impact more than 35-year-old widow Amanda Moore, who grew up working for her mom at Mimi's before scandalously marrying Frank and changing sides to work at Franny's. Oh, there's so much tension. This could be like a BAKESHOP mystery right there. Somebody's got to die. I don't think anyone dies in this one. Tired of being caught in the middle, Amanda sends an SOS to Food Wars, a reality TV restaurant competition that promises $100,000 to the winner. But in doing so, she launches both families out of the frying pan and directly into the fire. You will want to eat all the fried chicken when you read it. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm super excited about this one. It sounds right up my alley. It sounds almost like a modern retelling of like West Side Story or Romeo and Juliet over fried chicken. I don't know. I haven't looked. Is this cheating to look in the back? Are there recipes? Maybe not. Okay. Well, I guess after I read it, I'm going to have to try my hand at fried chicken. I don't know if anyone else has read it. It's on your list, Paula. Yeah, it sounds great. I haven't read this. I'm going to finish People We Meet on Vacation probably tonight or tomorrow, and then I will start this. But come on, I mean, it's fried chicken. It's fried chicken war. It's reality baking TV. I mean, you basically had me at that to begin with. Lenny, yay. I hope you enjoy it. We could read it together. Maybe we need a buddy read in our group here. We could all read Chicken Sisters together. No recipes, but I think it's on Reese's Book Club. Oh, okay. Yeah. So maybe you can go find recipes after the fact. Sweet. I'm down with that. So yeah, that is in a nutshell my summer TBR stack. Then we're going to have to move into all of the fall cozy reads, which I cannot wait for. I'm super excited because I was burning one of the BAKESHOP candles that the tech guy made that I shared a picture of today. And it's the scents that I imagine Tort to be, with like cardamom and touches of cinnamon and a little citrus. And I'm like, oh, I'm so ready for that. I cannot wait. Yeah. Bring it on. Yeah, we could. We'll have to do it. Oh, there's a Spotify for the book too. I love that. I love getting in other authors' heads for playlists. It's something that I always talk about that I think writers should do. Even if you don't want to listen to a playlist while you're actually writing, it's so great for character development. That's fabulous. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm in. Anyway, so that's my list. Any other great reads that you have all had? Karen, as a Southerner, you had me at fried chicken, right? I know. I have not mastered how to make fried chicken because it's not so much a thing in the Pacific Northwest. So maybe then if we read it, we could do a fried chicken, I don't know, recipe share or something. Amy, I hope you found some new ones. Yay. I mean, clearly any of these can be read any time of the year. I just tend to love to read on season, as you can see from just sort of like the colorful look of all of these books. This is definitely my summer reading stack for sure. So I have a feeling fall is going to look a little more, I don't know, burnt orange and everything. I just told hubby that you crack spines and write in your book. I know. I'm sorry. 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 That's all I can say. I'm telling you. Jamie, your birthday falls on Friday the 13th. Woohoo! Happy birthday. What are you going to do? Are you going to have a full like Halloween birthday bash? Do tell. And yes, I'm going to be at Poison Pen tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Virtually.
It's on Zoom with 3 other author friends. So if you are looking for something bookish to do tomorrow morning, come join in the fun. It's free. It's Hannah Dennison, it's S.C. Perkins, and Kat Conte. So we're having a little Minotaur Cozy Con with Poison Pen. So come join in the Zoom. I will make sure to share a link on my Facebook page when the live is over tonight. Yes, happy birthday. Yay. I love getting to share books and talk about books. Anytime you all want to talk about books, bring it on. I am here for that always. Let's see, coming up next week, we are going to do a writer night. So if you have any writerly questions, if you're looking for advice, or you just want to ask me questions about publishing and that process, you name it, bring your questions, bring a pad of paper, your laptop, whatever. And we'll just have like a fun Q&A. And then definitely save the date for the 24th. Without a Brew is going to be out in paperback. I can't wait to share this one. It's book 4. It's a great time to snag a copy if you haven't read it yet. I know I'll be getting some author copies soon, so I'm sure I will have a bunch to share.
Would we maybe give away an arc of the 5th book?
Oh, are you still mic'd?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they heard that.
Yeah.
We could definitely give away an arc of book 5, The Cure for What Ails You, which comes out in October. I just got some arcs, some galleys, some advanced reader copies. So one of you might need to win one of those for sure. I love that idea. And then the last day of the month, we're going to do the Etsy product release event. The tech guy, in addition to those candles, has been making other fall candles and so many fall bookish fun things that we can't wait to share. And we'll definitely be giving some of those away, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Toy, I'm glad you like the recommendation. Love anything sci-fi dystopian. Yes. Oh, the Size series. I've seen those. That's great to hear. I've seen those covers around. Have you read those?
Not yet, no.
No. Okay. All right. We're going to have to add those to our TBR. Thanks for that one.
Well, I'll read them first so they don't get dog-eared and cracked spines and writing on the pages.
I know. I mean, it's only like if I love a good quote. I don't know. I think you can also just love your books, right? And be one with them when you read them.
As long as other people get to love them before you,
I know.
I'm sure.
I'm not getting any feedback on that one.
No one was on your side. There were like 37 people said bookmarks. So
I know. I'm on an island with this one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh dear. All right. Well, on that note, thank you, Anna. It's like you all are my squad. So it's always like I get so excited and giddy to get to spend the night with you all.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Routinely.
Yes. And I've also dropped we got to end this one. I've also dropped a library book in the tub, and I had to do the library walk of shame and return and then buy the library book that, if your book starts like this, if you drop it into the tub, then it becomes like, giant. Yeah, I had to do that. And of course, people in Ashland is small, so I'm friends with many of the librarians and they know me as a writer. So that's really mortifying to walk into the library with a ruined library book and be like, yeah, so I dropped this in the tub and I guess I'm going to buy it now. Yeah, good stuff. You get the truth. I mean, this is the deal.
It's authentic.
It's authentic. I'm super red now too. Oh no. Okay. I think we need to end on that note. So I will hopefully see you all next week to talk writer questions. I hope you got some new reads and some fun drink ideas. I'm going to share all of those recipes tomorrow too. I'll just share them on the main page. So on that note,